This video is an introduction to my series of presentations for YouTube. I would like to briefly explain why I will be producing this series of presentations. When one looks around at the various videos floating around on YouTube about Jehovah's Witnesses, you will find a lot of misinformation. I have not looked at very many of these videos, but the ones that I have looked at, especially by non-Jehovah's Witnesses, I have seen a particular trend emerge. Many of the presentations sound very authoritative, as if the person truly understands what they are talking about. Unfortunately, much of what they say is misinformation. The reason for that, as far as I have been able to determine, is that the person making the presentation does not always have all the facts. Or, they have approached the information from a very biased perspective. After they look at a subject, they then assume that they had a full knowledge of what they are discussing. However, to someone who has more knowledge, it is quite obvious that they do not have the full picture. Let me try to illustrate it in this way. Let's assume that you have gone to a movie, and thoroughly enjoyed it, so you watch it several times. Sometime later you discover that the movie you watched was a remake of an older movie. You also find out that there's been more than one remake of the original. Quite often a different studio has been responsible for the do-over. In a remake, one will often find that there are some similarities, as well as many differences. Some remakes are really quite different from the original. There may only be a very basic similarity in the storyline. On another occasion, you happen to see parts of the original movie, but, for some reason, you did not see all of it. You came in late after it had started, and you were interrupted several times during the movie, and you did not see the end. So now we have an idea of what the original movie was like, but you cannot say with authority, or accuracy, what the details of every scene of the original movie was like. Sometime later you were talking with a group of people and the old movie is the subject of the conversation. Now most of your friends in the group have not seen the original movie, but they are familiar with one of the remakes. But, as you have had the opportunity to view parts of it, you speak with authority about a particular scene. It is similar to the movie that you first watched, but there are some details leading up to what were different. So now you're giving your idea as to what that scene is all about, based mainly on your recollection of the complete movie that you saw. That being the case, you will get some details wrong. So, how does that apply to what many people have said about the teachings of Jehovah's Witnesses or to some items printed in Watchtower publications? They will approach things written in Watchtower publications from their perceived ideas without the benefit of having all the information. Let's look at this in a pictorial manner. The person who has seen the original movie of my illustration can be likened to the person who is aware of all that has been printed in Watchtower publications. Even then such a person may get some minor details wrong when explaining what is in those publications, but they are in a better position to do so. Now, the person that has not seen all of the original movie, but only a remake, is like the people on YouTube that have tried to comment on some aspects of what has been published in Watchtower publications. They are not aware of all the details yet. They sound as if they actually know what they are talking about. At times people may only have seen, but not necessarily understood, a small portion of what has been published. The movie remake can be likened to the various ideas that have been published about Jehovah's Witnesses and the Watchtower publications by third parties. The discussion with friends is like the mix of both movies coming together. There is confusion and misinformation that is being discussed about what is actually in the original. When it comes to the doctrines of Jehovah's Witnesses, I have come across very few people that will try to discuss them from the point of view of all of the Bible. The vast majority of people I have spoken to will start in the New Testament to try to say that what we believe is unbiblical. That is like only seeing part of a movie and trying to explain what one has not seen.
That is a little unfair, isn't it? The New Testament is for Christians. After all, that is where we read about what our Lord Jesus taught. So, of course we have to start there.
I understand that. It seems many people would have the same thought. However, have you ever considered the culture that Jesus grew up in?
That is something I never really thought about. I have generally seen Jesus as the one who inspired the New Testament and what we believe. I haven't really spent much time considering his background.
Jesus was raised as a Jew. He believed in, and worshipped the God of the Jews, followed their laws and customs and was very familiar with the writings of Moses and the prophets. What he taught, built upon the teachings that were already in place. So, to understand the Bible's teachings on who God is, his relationship with Jesus, God's purpose for the earth, is there a hellfire, are our souls immortal, what future for mankind, we must start at the beginning, which means looking at what is written in the Hebrew Scriptures, more commonly known as the Old Testament. I will be, over time, discussing some of these topics as well as other major blunders individuals have made on YouTube about Jehovah's Witnesses and the Watchtower Society.